What's up, y'all? You are listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects, which is a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. I am your host, Melissa Cherie, and today we are bringing the heat from a beautiful artist from Los Angeles, y'all. Yes, the city of angels, and she is an angel. So how about that? Let me tell you a little bit about this angel. First of all, her name is Christina Ford. Okay, she is an actress, an author, a motivational speaker, a youth advocate, an entrepreneur. She was born and raised, though, in D.C., okay? So don't let the living in L.A. fool you. I know she's got some D.C. vibes, all right? She has always had a passion for entertainment and her faith in Christ at a young age, which is probably why we had an instant connection, but we'll get into that. She went on to graduate with a Bachelor of Arts from Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. And then after graduating from Spelman, she started her career in entertainment, working for MTV Networks in New York City while also pursuing acting for Broadway, television, and film. Christina moved to LA in 2009. We can get more into that move as we talk to her. But I want to point out that she is an author of a devotional and a motivational book entitled You Are the Prize. Yes, honey, winning. You are the prize. A journey to finding faith, confronting fear, and recognizing worth. She also has a passion for fitness. She's a founder of Fit for Life, which is a faith-based fitness boot camp, along with creator of Kings Meets Queens. Oh, she's got to give us the skinny on that. It is a Christian singles ministry to build up the kingdom. She enjoys mentoring, ministering. She's going to talk more about the things that she enjoys. But welcome, Christina. Listen, I don't think we've seen each other. Has it been like 10 years? Time is moving so quickly.
It's been a long time, but I feel like when I see you, it's just like time just erases. Like I'm back to where we were 10 years ago.
10 years ago. That's right. That's right.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
we almost Well, we did. We were working on collaborating to do some youth stuff for this organization. And
That's why I'm so excited. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
thank you. I mean, yeah, as you know, it's a journey. I'm nowhere near where, I thought I would be at this time, but I'm where we are. We are where we are, and we're still moving forward. But enough about that. Let's talk about you. Okay. So I first want to get into, we always like take it back to the beginning, like, because you obviously started acting at a young age. Yes.
I did, yes. When I think about my journey and people say, "Oh, like when did you get into acting?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've always been, It's just something that, when your parents put you in dance from like at a little girl and then when you get a taste of the stage, you're like, "Ooh, okay. I think I like this. And it was just one of those things that, like, when I was 3 and 4 and 5, I just knew that it was something that I loved to do. However, I was very shy. So if you looked at me as a little girl, you'd be like, no way. But that was just the way that I knew I connected to something creative, and that was what my outlet was. And that stuck with me. However, I found other things that I love to do, but performing and entertainment and acting and all of it was just something that I always knew from when I was young that I had to do it. Like I just had to be involved and do something.
So, what was it that you loved about acting specifically? Like, did you just love being in front of people? Did you love like playing other people? Like, do you remember what it was that just really grabbed you?
What I loved about it was becoming someone else. I think I
Mm.
was like, to be honest with you, I was a very insecure little girl. And so when I had the opportunity to become a character, I could be step outside of myself for a minute and become this other person and take on this new identity and create this role and when you're younger you don't quite understand all of the nuances of what it takes to be an actor, but
Hmm.
at that age I knew. I said, it's not that I don't want to identify with who I truly am. It's not that. More like it was just a creative way for me to express myself.
Mm.
And that's really all I wanted. And I loved memorizing stuff, which is so weird. Like from a young kid, I loved memorizing. And so it was like a challenge for me. And so like, I'm going to get this, and I just enjoyed being on stage and performing what I had rehearsed and done. And it was just something that's just always stuck with me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, wow, it's been a while. You know, some things just don't go away, when it's in you,
It's
when it's
true.
something that you're passionate about. The fire won't die, when it's something that's in you.
Hmm. You know what? But not only did you love it, but you obviously were good at it. I mean, let's just go there because everybody cannot memorize, first of all. Like, that is a
I
skill.
still struggle, but I have techniques now. Now I know what I'm kind of doing.
Did you go to acting school or anything like that?
Well, at Spelman, I graduated and I have a theater arts degree as well as a Spanish degree. So, and then when I moved to New York, I did like so many different acting classes in New York City. And then when I went to LA, it's a whole different ball game out here. But I've just been in class after class after class, just educating myself in all genres, commercials, television, comedic sitcom, drama, and then just acting for film. Like I just wanted to be educated in all areas, and then obviously stage acting. I just love that. That's my first love is the theater. So
Hmm.
just always making sure that I stay sharp and stay on top of it because you have to be prepared at all
Yes.
times.
Yes. Yes, we do. I do agree, though. There's something very magical about the stage and about the theater and the not being able to retake and not being able to redo, but really having to be present in the moment and to make it happen like right then.
It's such an electrifying feeling when
Hmm.
you can go on there, and with theater every night is different. Like remember doing plays out here, and you know a lot of actors out in LA, they're film and TV actors. So, you know, just the idea of being on a stage and every night is different. Like you don't know what is going to happen.
Hmm.
And I think that's just the beauty of theater is like every night can be something different because of how things move and work and the energy and the chemistry and the audience and what they're receiving back. So it's just I love there's something you're right. It's so magical about that.
So, what is your favorite genre? Because I know you said you studied comedic and drama, and do you have a favorite?
Oh yes, I my favorite is comedic sitcom. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like my dream like acting job is like something on Blackish or one of those shows. I just love comedic sitcom. I love making people laugh. I love just the 1-2 punches, and it's a very skilled type of television acting. I mean, it's very different and hard, I
Hmm.
will say, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite. So I love
Mm.
a good drama too. I love that, but I think it's in me. I just have a very expressive like face and like I don't want to it's hard to hide it, so I just love being expressive with my face and making people laugh.
Yeah.
And being relatable and fun. Like that's my favorite.
And that's
What's
part
your
of,
favorite?
huh? What's my
What's your
favorite?
favorite? Yeah.
Girl, listen, drama, okay?
Ooh,
Drama. Like
yes.
I'm all about like playing the extremes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I've always wanted to play a really extreme, like psychotic, complex, very deep character.
I love that. Turn it
But
on.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see though.
Love that.
So, okay, listen, I mean, obviously you look 20 years young,
Ah, thank
but
you.
you have been at this for a little while,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And as long as I've known you, you have always been very upbeat. You've never seemed like you want to give up, or you know what I mean? So, I mean, what has been the key to that? Like, how have you stayed in it for this long?
Well, this is where the honesty and the transparency comes in, because I feel like there's so many people that say that they've been through this journey for so long, but I've had moments of just like, I'm over it. I don't know if I can even sustain myself. Sorry, my computer is just dinging.
That's okay. They know this is not planned, it's not scripted. Ding along.
But I had times when I really was just down, and I just said, I'm just going to go back to corporate America, and I actually did.
Hmm.
And I I was like, I either need to eat and sustain my life, because there's a lifestyle that I particularly like. I like to travel, I like to do things. I'm so sorry. Let me put this on silent, and which I thought I did.
Oh, you know what else? Can you close those blinds
Oh,
or adjust, because they're like it's kind of glaring and it's making it so it's hard to see you.
oh, okay. 1 second.
I mean, for the people that are listening, they don't care. But for the people that are going to get a chance to see this, they need to see your beautiful face, honey. Okay, that's
Better.
better. Yeah, it's better.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry, listeners. Didn't mean to cause that. But yeah, so I have really been in a place where I wanted to just say, I'm going to throw in the towel just for a
Hmm.
little bit, and I did.
Yeah.
I did. It hasn't been a smooth road. I wanted to sustain my life in a way that acting wasn't at a certain point,
Hmm.
and I had to give it a break. Along with that, I lost my mom a couple years ago, and with grief, it does something to you where you couldn't. I wasn't the same artist that I was before.
Mm.
Like, I wasn't the same, and I'm just now getting back to me.
Really?
Yeah, I booked my first job last week,
Hmm.
acting gig last week, and it has been 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So um, I had to take a beat and just let life happen and let myself feel all the feels, because, I think when you're an artist and you want to be your most authentic self when it comes to, being who you are on camera, everybody can see like everything in you, right? And
Hmm.
so when you're an artist, it's important just to let that time happen for you and give it a beat. And I didn't realize it, and I was angry and I was upset. I was like, I just want to get back to myself as an artist. That's what I miss.
Yeah.
And um I'm just now getting back into that, and it's a really good feeling to feel like I'm over that hump.
Hmm.
And um I just encourage, like, anyone who's going through life because life happens, right? Especially through this whole pandemic. Um it's okay to take a minute. It's okay to take a beat. You don't have to be, grinding all day all night. Like,
Hmm.
take life moments and don't miss out on those. And um you know but also recognize that God gave you something for a reason. And if
Hmm.
you need to take those beats just to reflect, like, what is truly going to make me happy? What am I purposed here on this earth to do? Um, Take it and then recognize it, and keep going. Just keep going, and um, surround yourself with, like, people like you, and just people who want to encourage you and support you in your craft and your artistry, whatever lane that you're in. You need those people who are going to be like, you got this, like, keep going, don't give up, and that have your back,
Yeah.
and want to see you succeed. And so that's also, like, just a major key thing to have. And um back in the day, like in my early years of living in LA, I probably didn't have that. So now, years later, I just feel like if I had to take a moment to just take a beat of life,
Hmm.
um, now is the time to jump back in because I have a good support system. And like, you become a better artist when life happens too, right?
Yeah.
So, um, you know, I think that no matter what part of the journey you're in, if you feel like you want to give up, or you feel like you hit your ebbs and flows, your highs and your lows,
Hmm.
that's normal and that's okay. And to always have something else too that you love to do. Like, I think for so long, like I was just acting, acting, acting. I have to just, and it was fine, but there's other things that I was missing out on, that I wasn't tapping into the other gifts that I had. So like with fitness and ministry and like all these things, I was like, oh yeah, I can do all these things too, which help when you hit the lows or hit the slow times, that you
Hmm.
can fill yourself up with things that matter and things that are benefiting you in other ways too. So yeah, that's what I would say. My journey has been definitely up and down, but I'm still here and I'm still going, and I'm not giving up. And it's just part of another chapter in the book, that we have, and just to keep going.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another chapter, another season. I mean, as you're talking, so much was like coming up for me as you were talking, because I just really appreciate the fact that you brought up, take a beat and, feel all the feels, like it's okay. Like I was just having a conversation. I had a meeting yesterday and was having a conversation with somebody, and they were talking about how there was a period of time that was a lot longer than they thought it would be, where they weren't doing what they normally do. And so,
mhm.
of course, when have an extended period of time where you're not doing what you normally do, you might tend to feel like, well, this is a waste of time. This is unproductive, And I was like, nah, don't be so quick to think that, because there are other things that are happening in that time, that time that we unplug or shift or make a little change in direction, and we're not doing what we normally do, but there's still something brewing. There's still something going on that's necessary for whatever it is that's coming next. So sometimes we just need people or reminders to, let us kind of woo-saw and be like, it's okay. It's okay.
Absolutely, and thank you for just saying that and reiterating that point, because I think um, you know we look at all these great actors and artists, and and they like for we may hear one part of the story where they're like, we grinded for years, and and we didn't take life, you didn't enjoy life, and I'm like, I just don't want I want to enjoy my life. And I
Yeah.
think I think it's just, it makes, like I said, it makes you a better actor. Like, um, just to see the world, travel, do things that you enjoy, be adventurous. I
Yeah.
think it's just so important. It just makes you just a more well-rounded person overall too. But yeah, just take the beats, enjoy life, and the awesome part about like being an artist is that it's always here. Like, you can always come back to it. Like, you're never gonna miss out. Like, the right opportunities that are for you will be here when you get back, or when you decide to jump back in. Like, it's you're never gonna miss the boat, because
Right.
there'll always be the perfect opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm. And what else I love is, in terms of what you just said, is like it's always going to be here. It made me think like we always carry it with us. You know what I mean? As artists, like our creativity and our artistry, like it's not going anywhere because it's within. So wherever we are, it is. So we always have it,
We always
which is
have it.
very cool.
I know, and it's like, that's the whole thing about having a gift, and what God gives you. Like, it's always going to be there, and it's just a matter of you using it, like not letting it die or lie dormant, but just stirring it up, stirring
Mm-hmm.
up your talent, stirring up your gift, and activating it, and blessing people with it. Like, people want to like receive what you have to give, and like,
Yeah.
I think that's just the beauty of, the talents that we have, is that we're here to bless other people with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this, because you just mentioned that you got into other things. You're like, it's not just about acting. I've got some other talents and some other things, and, let me do some of these things. How did you come to know that you had these other gifts or these other talents? Because all of your focus was on acting. So how were you able to see, like, oh my gosh, no, I have this talent too, or I also have this gift? How did you get there?
thank you. I feel like when I know that there's a void in something, like
Mm-hmm.
for example, with Kings Meet Queens. I was single for so long, and I was like, well, where are all the Christian men? Like, where do people meet besides, church, which I get it. You can meet them there, but it was hard. It's hard to meet at church.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to create something where we can come together. And I was like, where is that? I don't see this. It doesn't exist. So why not create it? And it
Mm-hmm.
was something I was passionate about. It was something that I really enjoyed doing and bringing people together. And that's how it started. And even with my fitness boot camp, it literally just started with one person saying, oh, wow, like you're so good at coaching and motivating. And like, I feel like I like, feel like a better person after I leave. And it was just because I loved encouraging people. Like that was just always in me from day one. I played sports too growing up, and so I was always like the cheerleader on the team, for lack of a better term. I always wanted to encourage everyone. And so for my fitness, I love fitness. I love working out. And so when I started to just work with people one on one, they're like, "You should do a boot camp. You should have this and you should do that." I'm like, "I don't know." But then it became this larger, it became something. And
Mm-hmm.
um it wasn't necessarily that I didn't know that I had it. I just kind of had to have people bring it out of me too. Where they're like,
Mm.
I see something in you. Why don't you do this? Like you're really good at this. And I'm like, oh, really? Like that was just something that I just happened to do, and I like to do it. And sometimes people have, it takes other people to just pull out some of the things you don't necessarily see sometimes. And so that's really how those things started. And it's been an awesome journey. And um I think life is about how you can help others, and that's what those two things were. I never really wanted to charge anybody, or it was no, really wanted to keep it very like cost effective for people to live their best life. Fit for life is living your fullest every day. That's what
Mm-hmm.
life means. And so I wanted people to walk away feeling like they are living their best lives, pretty much. Um, so yeah, I think it's like tap into the things that you already know how to do. And I love this, but I always say use what's in your hands. Like God is giving you something, abilities, talents, skills that He's blessed you with. Like use what you already have, and
Mm-hmm.
go from there. Like if you know you're good at something, use that. You could be good at crocheting. You could be good at, making pottery. You could be good at motivating people. You could be a good writer. You could be whatever. And it's like use those things and go forth in those areas, and you never know how that can be a blessing to you, but also be an asset to you as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when they call and they're like, we need somebody who's like a amazing crochet artist, and that's like your side thing, that's like what you're really talented at. That's your role, that's for you. So it's just tapping into the things that you know that you are good at and that you can do, and letting, I always love this scripture, but like, your gifts will make room for you. Like that will bring forth more opportunities, is tapping into the gifts that you
Mm-hmm.
already have.
Girl, you're over here dropping nuggets, as we say. Wait, I don't think so. You played sports? How are you able to play sports and do all this acting and creative artistic stuff? What kind of sports did you do?
Oh my gosh, my parents kept me busy. They were like, we just need to keep you busy. So Yeah, I played basketball for a long time. That was like my first love. I loved playing basketball. I played soccer. I ran track. Um, I danced too. But those are some of the main things that I played, and I just had a love for just team sports. Like I just love something about being on a team. I loved it. I was never the best player. Trust me, I was not like a MVP. I was not that good, but I owned my position, and I tried to do as best as I could, and I just loved
You were good enough and you did the job.
it. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, do you root for anybody now? Like, who are your teams?
Well, so I never really had a team. Let me just say that. But my fiance, he's a Cleveland Browns fan, so
Oh
I'm,
no. He
I'm just
must
now like a Cleveland Browns fan.
he must be from there cuz
He's
that's
from
very
Cleveland.
that's very rare, okay?
He's from Cleveland. Yeah. So yes, I by nature now I'm a Cleveland Browns fan and Cleveland everything fan. So
Wow. Okay. I do root for the Buckeyes when it comes to,
okay,
college football, but I am definitely not a Browns fan.
okay, it's
No
okay.
offense, girl, no offense.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be called.
Oh my gosh, but we digress. We digress. But, actually, we don't really digress because, I mean, it really is all about balance. You know what I mean? Like, I know you've probably heard this phrase, that we are three-part beings. Some people describe us as that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we live in a body, we have a soul and a spirit, and then, we have our mind. And
Mhm.
so it's like in terms of balance, it's like we really have to pay attention to all of the different aspects of our being, or we get out of balance, you know?
I do.
And so, you know what? Let's go here. Let's go here because this was something that I was kind of like chewing on when I knew I was going to be able to talk to you today. Because I know that, your spiritual life is very important to you, right? As it is for me. And
Mhm.
so I don't know if you've ever had this as an artist, but it's like, did you ever feel like you can be so consumed by just being this amazing spiritual being that you feel like it somehow conflicts or counteracts like being your other artistic self? Or I don't know if I'm articulating that way that you understand.
Oh, I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I get it.
Okay.
I get it. I've been there many times. And it's like, yeah, it does feel like sometimes it conflicts. And I struggled with this for a long time, like over the years, early years. But now I'm at a point where like, I'm so confident in who I am spiritually
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard for me to I can't compromise my faith. I can't compromise my beliefs and what I believe in. There's no questioning um, because there's just certain things that I feel like I can authentically portray, and there's some things that I cannot that might
Mm-hmm.
go against what who I am as a child of God. There's just certain things that I just know, like I would not honestly be able to be believable in this role,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I have to. The power of saying no is very, very powerful. I mean, it's a powerful word is no because I'm sure I would have probably been like far, like way further along in my career if I would
Mm-hmm.
have said yes to certain roles.
Yeah.
Um, but I knew in my spirit, I knew I just couldn't. Like there was just something that said, "No, Christina, this is not for you." And it was for someone else. And I actually knew the person who got some of these different roles that we were up against, and they're doing amazing. But that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for me. That was for them. And just to be okay knowing that what's for you is for you, and what's for someone else is for someone else. I just know as a Christian that there's a role for everybody, and there's a place for everybody, and my job at the end of the day is to build up the kingdom with whatever I'm doing. So I just know that I can't. take certain things and certain opportunities because I know I won't portray it authentically enough, and
Yeah.
that's just my place. However, I do understand that I'm an actress
Mm-hmm.
and that, we have to become different characters and different people, right?
Yeah.
But there's just certain boundaries that I place around it where I know that I can be the most comfortable person I can be in this character. I love a good stretch and a good challenge. I love it. But when it comes to compromising my beliefs, I just have to draw the line. And
Yeah.
that's just who I become confident in that person of an artist,
Mm-hmm.
like it's okay. Like I can say no to this and there'll be something greater. Like, like it's not
Yeah.
like the end of the world if I say no to this. And I've had teams and management agencies, my agents mad at me for like not wanting to take certain things and I'm like, sorry, it's just not for me. But
Yeah.
there's something else,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Uh,
So
that's that's some
it,
good that's wisdom right there in terms of just the power of no and the power of choice. You know what I mean? Like we have the power to choose and we do have control over the things that we say yes and no to and that's fine. Like, it's okay. Like we've all been given that power to make
yeah.
choices.
Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt like conflicted in that way as an artist?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Now, I will say, okay, so in terms of like the acting lane, I feel like not so much, or maybe I'm not as conflicted. It's easier for me to draw a line, right? In terms of like characters and roles that I want to play and don't want to play. But then there's also the issue of like easily being typecast into certain roles, specifically just because of, you know, the color of my skin and you know what I mean? So, but anyway, we won't go into that right now. But I feel like I've been more conflicted when it comes to my music
Mm,
because I don't know, I just have always had a heart for gospel music and there have been so many times where there have been opportunities to like, sing this other fluff and stuff. No offense to anybody, you know what I mean? Like I listen to fluff and stuff. Like I turn the radio on from time to time and I do that. But like most times if you're like in the car with me, if you're whatever, like I naturally gravitate towards music that is playing that's like gospel music. It's like, you know and so yeah, so I was conflicted in a period of time or a lot of times with music because it's like when I put my band together it's like, do I really want to be doing this music? Because sometimes the venues will require that you cover certain songs, popular
mm.
songs are not gospel music. And it's like, people don't want to hear that, but that's really like, really, you guys, that's really all I want to sing. So yeah, that has been a challenge for me multiple times, but I think I'm in a place now, like where with like you said, where I'm just more confident with, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and it is what it is, really.
Yeah. And just being okay with that. Like, you don't need any other validation but just yourself saying, nope, you're doing exactly what you need to do. And there's a lane for you. Like, there's a specific lane for you.
Yeah.
So I think that is such a beautiful place to be in.
Hmm. It is a beautiful place. I think, I don't know if you want to speak to how you got to that place because I mean, did you have to like stumble a couple times? Did some things happen for you to actually ease your way into that confidence or did you just progress there naturally?
Oh, yeah. No, I stumbled, fell, tripped, scuffed up knees. I definitely have experienced things that have made me feel like, okay, I need to make a decision. And I think there's just like a conviction too in your spirit that's like, okay, like you need to choose, And yeah, I've had situations where I was up for certain opportunities and I literally was shaking in my sleepless nights trying to figure this out if I should take this or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew, I just felt it. I said, no, I can't do this. Like, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had a peace about it. Like once I said no, like I had a peace about it. And then it happened again. Like, it was like, okay, I'm gonna try you one more time. And I was like, oh, here we are again. And I had to say no again. But then I had a peace about the no. And I was like, okay, well, and then it happened, and again, it happened again, and again. And that's how it started to build my confidence, is
Mm.
because I had to be comfortable saying no. But every time that I said no, I would get another opportunity that felt like the right fit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what helped me, feeling like, okay, like I don't have to say yes to these things. Like I can say no and I still will get something else. Like
Yeah.
that I feel good about. So it did take some hard times and heartbreaking times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the end of the day, it really made me a better person. And I had respect for myself, like I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like I respected me knowing that I wasn't doing something that was compromising my faith or my beliefs. And
Mm-hmm.
I was fine with that. I was like,
Yeah.
I can go to sleep at night knowing that I made the right choice. And I think that's like, I never have to think about, oh gosh, remember that one time back then that you know, I don't have to deal with that, and I'm okay. Like I'm in a good place where saying no isn't always bad. And the power of saying yes to opportunities that you don't really think you might want also is also good in that too. So finding that finding that balance and creating those boundaries is so important.
Mm. The imagery of that is whoa, I love the imagery of that. I just could see it, the opportunity just kept presenting itself. You kept having to be conflicted to say no, but every time it got a little bit easier. I mean, I can just kind of see that almost like a cartoon, but that's really cool. So you have an agent and a manager.
Right now, I just have a manager.
Okay. And
Yeah,
how is that process of have you been with this manager for a long time?
I have, and I definitely feel like it's like dating. It's like
Yeah.
a date relationship
Mm-hmm.
of having ups and downs and finding the right fit with the agent and a manager. And so I feel like um, it is one of those things that you have to just find the right fit. You have to find the right fit.
Okay. I'm like thinking of somebody that, might be like new to acting and has never ever gotten a manager or never ever gotten an agent. And any sort of like first step wisdom that you might, you know, share, like how they should even go about beginning to look for somebody to find a right fit.
Yes, find out what their roster is like. Find out who they represent,
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's a hole, and then go from there. Like you want to be the only one that they can fight. Not the only one, but you want to be one that really stands out to them. Like, and I
Mm.
think that's the most important thing.
Okay.
Like I think just finding that hole, finding their roster. It does take some research, but just knowing. And then having those conversations, what you want, what your future is, and all of that, and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's been like the way that I've gone about it, and it's worked.
Yeah. So obviously you write things down because you oh, okay. Well, you know what? So listen. I have a bajillion questions, but I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have you back on because we have been on for a minute. And so, yeah, would you love to come back at another time?
I would love to.
Because I
I,
was about to start to get into some really juicy details, okay? So, really quick, though, before I let you go, can you just shout out any of your handles? Like if you have a website, if you're on social media, how people can find you and follow you?
yes, I am on Instagram at Christina D Ford, and then I'm also on Twitter too. That's also my Twitter, and then my website is christinaford.me.
Yes. All right, you guys. So you must check her out. We are going to wrap up this episode. She will be back, but you guys have been listening to For the Artist, which is a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects. I have been your host, Melissa Cherie, and I've been speaking to the beautiful, lovely, and amazing Christina Ford. We'll talk about your book when you come back on next time, okay?
Yes, that sounds great.
All right. Love you, girl.
Love you.
So good to see you. All right, you guys, keep creating from the inside out.